there, recording. I think everyone here saw your presentation.
Hello again, Rhonda. Thanks for your time.
Oh, it's good to see you again.
So I'm going to share my screen. Eu vou compartilhar a tela. Would you like to start with the Marisa Rezende piece, Rhonda? Yeah?
That's fine.
Ok. Daniel mandou 2 seleções. Então, primeiro tem a deriva da Marisa Rezende, que por coincidência é a peça que Vanilce tocou no projeto Janelas, né? Então, deixa eu só compartilhar a tela e a gente vai ver a gravação do Daniel. Ok. E me falam, eu estou com fones aqui, eu acho que não vai prejudicar o som, mas faz um sinal se não tá ouvindo, ok? Ok. Ouvindo?
Nice. Yay. Well done. Well done. This is a fun piece. I've enjoyed listening to it. So is there a story behind this piece for you? Is there like a story that you're thinking of when you're playing it?
I'm just going to translate real quickly. Então, muito bom, ela gostou de conhecer a peça e ela tá perguntando se ele tem uma narrativa que acompanha na cabeça dele, para acompanhar.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. A deriva, it's like something. Uh, I don't know what translation exactly for deriva. You know, Elise?
Uh,
Uh,
actually, I didn't look it up.
it's like
Uh,
some lost. You know, something like a person walking in a forest, a deriva.
oh,
Isn't
okay.
it lost in it? It's isn't really lost, but
Sort of
the person
wandering.
is just walking and want to see what will happen, you know. So I make a kind of this imagine of this piece in my mind, I guess, because it has a lot of small small phrases and ideas. So uh, there's time that it's a little difficult to put all together. I don't know.
O Daniel tá falando que ele imagina uma pessoa numa floresta vagando, né? Perdido, mas sem desespero, né? Andando na floresta. Mas o desafio da peça é essa, porque tem muitas frases curtas, então para ter uma ideia mais unificado da peça.
I love that image. That makes a lot of sense because it does have, the phrases are very small and some of it's almost like an interruption. And I'm wondering if you could think of the interruptions as being even more when they're forte, like being more exaggerating everything.
Então, tô sugerindo que exagera tudo, que realmente é isso, e que tem umas cortes que quebram a música, então às vezes ele pode exagerar isso quando estiver em forte, essas quebras.
So the first thing I see, and I don't know if people have seen the score to this, but we have a rest on the downbeat, and then 16th notes, then 2/8, and they're forte with accents. And the last note is a 16th note at the end of the beat, right? So, and then, so it could have been on the downbeat. I mean, so I would ask myself, why didn't the composer do on the downbeat? But because it's not on the downbeat, it's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, it's not a regular rhythm.
And it's a Bartok pizzicato.
Yeah.
To put more strength.
Yeah, feel that empty downbeat. So I would even think maybe 1 and 2, and think of the third beat, just to give it that feeling of anticipation.
Yeah.
Desculpa, eu tô compartilhando a tela aqui. I'm just going to share my screen, Rhonda, because I have the score here. And then people can... sorry, were you guys hearing me? Yes. That I was going to share the screen? Okay, so let me just share the screen. So you guys can see it. Hang on just a second. Okay. Só ela tá falando da partitura, então eu vou só mostrar aqui. Sorry, Rhonda. If you wanna,
okay.
There. Que aqui tem uma pausa no primeiro tempo, então para ele sentir mais essa questão de pausa no início.
Danny, would you mind playing that opening for us one more time?
Sorry. More time, do you think? Or...
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's great. And then, so the next, let's think about the gestures a little bit. So this next, the como, I thought sounded really beautiful. And then this is kind of maybe, do you think of it as an interruption, the one? You know, it's like we think, okay, we're walking along the beach and we're very calm, and then suddenly we see something, yeah? Yeah, and then, I think that swell, maybe you can do more with that swell, just to feel really like it's ended. And then boom, we go. Would you try it from the calmo?
Where? Sorry.
The measure 3?
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, there's a little bit of a funny sound, so I can't quite hear you as well as I'd like to, but such is Zoom.
Yeah.
So then, when you have things, let's just work on some of the loud things. It's measure 15. Can that be really as loud as you can? Just a nice full, nice, get the cello ringing as much as possible.
Yeah.
Great, great. Can you try that whole phrase? So starting here, yeah, where does that phrase end for you? Where are you thinking?
It ends at the final 18 measure.
Okay, good. Can you try that whole thing from 15 and see if you can keep it all in like one big phrase, even though there are rests. So we'll still keep the tension of going forward. And then, can you try that from...
Ela tá pedindo para ele trabalhar as partes mais fortes, e agora a gente está no compasso 15, e Daniel falou que essa sessão vai até o final de compasso 18. Então ele vai fazer isso tentando manter essa sessão mais unido, manter a atenção nesses compassos. Enquanto no compasso 5, ela pediu que seja mais uma corte, uma interrupção.
No, I think it's the ends in 19.
I'm sorry?
Now I think that ends in the 19 measure.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering about that. So it ends with... Okay, yeah, you know, these are really good questions, and it's nice to work with the composer because then you can ask the composer. But when you don't have the composer right in front of you, it's good to come up with, you know, what you think. I liked what you did. I think, so just breaking this apart, we've got, and then we have this one measure. Then I think measure 17 keeps going. I think that's all one piece. And then we've got, whether that's an end or a beginning, we're not sure. So maybe you can link together a little bit more, really go into that and keep it one long line.
Okay.
I can't quite see your bow, but I'm wondering, maybe you're doing this already, but I'm wondering if you could do down, up, up.
Up, up. No, I'm not doing this. It's better.
It might be better, you know, bowings are very individual, but you might try that because then, and then it'll end on that nice
I was
forte.
doing up bow at 18, but I think it's better down bow.
With, yeah, that sounds good. That's really nice. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is, let me get to the second page. When you have, this is on the second page, it's measure 30. You've got that sort of thing. I'm wondering if you can use, instead of your whole arm, if you can try using more of your hand for that. Can you try that for me, just really slowly? Thank you. Okay, good. Now try it the other way. So the C is going to be on an up bow and the G is a down bow.
Okay.
Great. So when we have notes that are going to be that fast, we want to have our string crossings going in the right direction. And so it will be easier to go up on a lower string and down on an upper string. Yeah. We don't always want to do that. Sometimes we want that punctuation of a down bow, but I would try it up bow on the C string. And then if you can imagine that you're just leaning on something, that you're like, you know, leaning on a desk or something. And so your arm is just nice and supported. And then you can move your hand independently. It's almost like waving goodbye. It's in a little bit of a circle though. And so then you got, and then if you want it to crescendo, then we start using the arm. So we start out, and then you can, you know, gradually add more weight. But try that out. Try out starting with your hand, and then you move to the arm. Yeah, good, bravo, bravo. So one thing we want to think about is how far is it from the C string to the G string? Which is always a question, right? When we talk about string crossings, it could be that far, yeah, or it could be just this. So we want, for this, we want to make it as small as possible, almost like playing double stops, almost. So then, yeah, try to keep it as much like a double stop as possible. Good. Did you start up bow on the C string? I can't quite see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And if you keep it in sort of the middle of the bow, that's probably going to be good enough, because if we get too fast at the frog, it becomes a little bit awkward. But nice. I think this is a really nice piece. Are there any spots that are bugging you or any questions you have?
I'm doing a thing I think it works, but I don't know yet if it sounds really good. At the measure 33, because we have it's 33 and after at the end, but first in 33 it's a thing to get on the ponticello with doing this with the bow to change the
Yes,
contact point.
I noticed that.
But I don't think if it's even necessary to do the ponticello.
Yeah, you did it very well. So I hesitate to say anything, but I think probably just let the bow drift down. I don't know if you can see my bow. Maybe if I move a little bit. There we go. So
Okay. The other thing it's the measure 47 because we have the same gesture of, but we start ponticello. To change this ponticello to the ordinary bow, I don't think I'm doing really well yet.
for that, I probably would do the first two notes slurred, but you want to get as much glassy sound as possible. Yeah. Just allow your bow to come up and you'll be fine. Would you play that?
I don't know. I get a little confused. Do you start with up bow or down bow in this?
What I would do is so I do down, then up. But I'm wondering if for that, if it's tricky, it's difficult because ponticello, you have to be very careful with the bow or you will, it will fall off the bridge. So you can't do too much motion with the bow, but I'm wondering because it's loud, if the gesture can match the music. So if you could, so that it really looks like you're going to play forte as well. It will also help you get your back muscles moving and playing with a little bit more sound in an easy way.
Okay.
Can you try that? Do a big gesture. Okay, try this for me. It's going to seem really extreme, but can you bring the bow up to your head and then down again? Yeah, I think things like that in this piece, I think are going to be really important so that you convey the drama of this piece. The dynamics are quite extreme. You have, pianissimo and then you've got fortissimo. It's quite something.
Nice. Thank you.
You play really well. This is very fun to hear you. Elise, should I pause so that you can translate some things? Oh, you're on mute.
I was actually just checking in with them to ask, on the chat to see if I should translate, and I didn't want to break up, but I'm just going to recap some of the important things that you touched on.
Sorry.
For them, no, it's fine. You guys were working so nicely. Gente, vou só falar algumas coisas gerais. Basicamente, eles escolheram alguns lugares para olhar gesto e a questão dessa peça que não sempre fica tão claro quais compassos, quais gestos vão juntos e quais são cortes, né? Quais são interrupções. Às vezes é mais claro. E ela fez o comentário que quando a gente pode trabalhar com o compositor, fica mais fácil, mas quando é só a gente e a partitura, a gente tem que tomar uma posição. Então, no início, eles estavam trabalhando em alguns lugares e explorando quais partes vão juntos e tentando deixar essas partes, no caso foi aquela sessão na grade que mostrei de 15 até 19, tocar um pouco mais contínuo para deixar claro que isso foi uma unidade musical. Então, depois eles trabalharam aquele trêmulo entre cordas dó e sol, e Rhonda fez a sugestão que ele começasse para cima, na corda de baixo, no sol, facilitando o trêmulo, porque ele estava fazendo baixo, cima, aí eles trabalharam o gesto no sentido contrário. E também tocaram sobre a questão de ponticello, como chegar no ponticello, se precisava fazer um ângulo radical do arco para chegar no ponticello, e ela sugeriu que ele simplesmente deixar o arco chegar mais naturalmente. E por último, fez um comentário que eu achei muito importante nessa peça, que tem muita drama nessa peça, tem dinâmicas muito extremas, né? E tem uma drama, e ela está sugerindo que os gestos, vocês viram o gesto que ela sugeriu do forte, que seja maior, para até visualmente passar essa sensação de drama, que a gente tem que passar numa música que é menos conhecido, passar com muito clareza a questão de drama, né? So, sorry. I'm really struggling today because I don't have a good place to be. My kids are coming in and sorry. Actually, I think what you said about drama is really nice. And in fact, so this piece I think I wrote to as part of a book of short pieces that was put together. And actually, I'm planning on teaching with this book next semester and talking about some of the points it raises. And I think this idea that when it's a piece that's less obvious or less well-known, you have to make the drama visually more clear for the audience is really relevant, you know, because it's not Bach, it's not something that people know what's going to happen next.
So when you guys are learning a new piece like this, I might break it up into different ways of learning it. So first I would learn the notes, and just the notes, no rhythm, just like.
Então, ela está falando sobre essa questão de uma peça contemporânea, uma peça menos conhecida, qual que seria o processo de aprendizagem, e que ela sugere que primeiro, antes de nada mais, a gente olha só as notas, até sem ritmo, né?
And then I learned just the rhythm, so I would be thinking, so da 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 ba ba ba. Okay, so I got the rhythm.
E depois ritmo sozinho, sem as notas.
Don't play. just the rhythm. And then I would think of the dynamics, and again I wouldn't play it, but I would go boom boom ba. You know, so you've got the idea of the gesture of what the music is about before you try to put everything together.
Então, depois do ritmo, aí coloca a dinâmica, mas ainda sem tocar, para sentir a lógica dos gestos. E depois de tudo isso, aí coloca junto no cello.
Mom, is it lotion for your lips?
Great. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be a super fun piece. I would actually go through and I would sing it, just to get the gesture, so you don't have to be thinking, am I on an up bow, a down bow, do I have a shift, am I in tune, you know, all that stuff. I would sing through the whole thing, just keeping time.
Aí ela sugere cantando a peça, do início até o fim, para realmente ver que você entende e conhece os gestos que você quer fazer com eles.
Okay.
Great.
Maybe I'll put on the Bachianas unless there are questions. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take my daughter to my husband to watch her. So,
How do you pass it?
Sweetheart,
How do you pass
I'll
it?
show you in a sec. Just a sec.
Is it like this? How do you pass it? Is it with your finger?
Ok.
Is it
Gente,
with
vou colocar, dá licença, que eu vou levar a Carolina para ficar.
Is it with your finger? No.
No, Carolina, that's too much. No.
Great. Yeah. You sound terrific. Really, this is such a beautiful piece.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. So in this piece, we really have to be a singer. Then there's also a singer, but we have to be unique. So I'm thinking about the long notes, and I would like to hear your long notes feel like they're going somewhere. They're inevitably going to the next note. It's a tough thing to do, but so if you've got that first C, you know, it sounds like it's moving somewhere. So even if you have a beautiful sound, we don't want it to be static. You know, we want it to feel like, you know, we want it to feel like you've got to play that E. It sounds like it's really going there. Can you try, let's try a couple of things. One thing that we often don't think enough about is where on the finger we're playing. And I would play all the long notes on this piece on the pad, on the fat part of the finger. Yeah. So can you you try that? So instead of being up on our fingertips, like we would be for fast passages, we're going to play a little bit flat fingered so that we're covering as much of the string as possible.
Okay.
Então, a Rhonda fez o comentário que ela primeiro parabenizou e depois que ela queria trabalhar um pouco as notas longas, que as notas longas têm que trazer a sensação que tem direção. Eles mesmo com som bonito, se fossem estáticos, não fica tão bonito. Então, ela demonstrou que tem que ter essa sensação que a próxima nota é inevitável, que tinha que ser, né? Então, e ela também comentou sobre a questão de onde no dedo a gente toca e sugeriu que se fosse uma passagem mais rápida, às vezes a gente usa os pontinhos dos dedos, mas nesse caso, para ele tocar todas as notas grandes, longas, com a parte mais grossa do dedo, para cobrir com carne do dedo uma área maior da corda.
I'm trying to put the fat part that you told me.
Daniel's very skinny. That's the problem.
Okay.
We need to fatten him up.
Okay, so Daniel, add one more thing, which is when you're playing that note, see if you can hang from the fingerboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release my thumb. I don't know if you can see that, but instead of squeezing, I'm just going to drop it. So I'm hanging. Just like I was hanging from a tree. So use all of your arm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's even over Zoom. I feel like that's so much better. So in person, I'm sure it's great. Yeah, so, okay, so we have that. The other thing is that note is very long, right? It's 4.5 beats. So let's think about the bow a minute. So as we bow, we're probably starting out and we're a little bit on the side of the hair, maybe a little bit. As you get to the tip, from the middle, can you roll the bow so that it goes from being on the side to being a little flatter? So I don't know, let me know if you can see this, but so I'm just using a couple of fingers to just roll the bow this way. So it's not with the wrist at all, it's just with a little bit this way. So it lengthens the bow so that at the tip you're playing with very, very flat hair rather than on the side. Daniel, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you roll the bow this way, just with your fingers?
Então, essa é uma nota muito longa e Rhonda está sugerindo que se ele começa com a crina mais no ângulo e ao longo do golpe ele vira só com dedos, não com pulso, ele faz uma pequena rotação do arco para ficar com crina mais plano, que isso faz o arco um pouco mais comprido. Então, ele está treinando esse gesto de fazer só com dedo.
Like this?
I think so. I can't quite see you, but. Yes, yes. Do you feel how that it increases the resistance so it makes the bow feel longer?
Yes. I felt it.
Great. Então, o que isso fez? Isso aumentou a resistência no meio para a ponta e quando aumenta a resistência, a sensação é que o arco ficou maior porque tinha mais pegada na parte de cima, que onde antes estava escorregando mais. Sim, Vanessa? Tá com pergunta? I think there's a question.
Se eu entendi bem, ela começa com a metade da crina e depois coloca a crina inteira?
Sim, começa o arco mais no ângulo e ao longo, aos poucos, coloca o arco mais perpendicular, com crina mais plana. E isso cria mais resistência ao longo do golpe, então com mais resistência cria mais som, né? É mais eficiente, então o resultado é que não precisa de menos arco.
Legal.
Okay.
Tricks. We liked it.
I want the tricks, yeah. Okay, so then we have all of these long lines, and then they end with rather short, rather faster notes, like 16 notes. So we wow, this F sharp, so surprising, yeah? I mean, we could do something silly, but yeah, take us every note that is surprising. Tell us about it. You can either play it more, you could play it less. I mean, there's so many things you could do with it. But you know, it could be. Now here, where are you gonna go? So you could go to the G. Yeah, let me do that again. You could go to the D. You could bring out the D by going away from it. Yeah. Make a decision of what you want to do, and you can do any of those. Nothing is wrong, you know. It's up to you.
Então, cada nota tem que ter um sentido sobre todas as notas inesperadas. Por isso, ela estava mostrando o Fá sustenido, Mi bemol, as notas mais cromáticas e as notas que são mais surpreendentes. Essas notas, sobretudo, tem que dizer alguma coisa. E aí ela mostrou várias possibilidades para como esculpir a frase. Pode fazer um crescendo, pode fazer um decrescendo, mas tem que ter alguma contorno, né? Alguma informação, conteúdo expressivo, e é só fazer a decisão e fazer mesmo, não só tocar o que está na página.
You know, so as we go on, there are just a couple of things I was wondering about. So here we are. So far, everything's been, yeah. Then there's a triplet coming up, which I think you could enjoy even more. So we got, yeah, just let it be a real triplet, if not a little bit bigger than that. And then here, I think you should play on the A string, just because you got a whole bunch of cellos and a soprano, and I think you'll need the volume. So it can be a little brighter, yeah, and project a little bit more.
Aqui toca na corda Lá, porque você está tocando com um grupo de cello, com cantora, e para ser mais brilhante, para ser mais forte.
So I'd love to hear you try a little bit of that. Would you be up for it? Could you try from, maybe from, can you try from there?
Okay.
Acorda lá!
Desespado.
Acorda lá!
Try on the A.
Okay, this is too new for me.
You can play around with it. So to make to do this shift back so we don't hear, yeah. So I'm releasing. I'm taking the weight out of the string. So if I do it really softly, it's going to be. I'm playing so lightly on the string you get harmonics, and because I've released, it's easy to do it quickly. But then I'm going to slide out.
Então, para descer, ela tira todo o peso, faz uma glissando de harmônico, que não dá para ouvir, porque é muito rápido, ela tira o peso e dá para ir muito rápido, e na subida ela faz portamento.
That's a lot to think about. But it's something you can play around with, and Elise can show you how to do that. You know, the other place, here's what I was wondering. As it finishes, this is at 2. And then it diminues to. Can you find a very special sound for that? It's actually in piano. And the beginning was, you know, forte or mezzo forte, I forget which. But find a really gorgeous sound for that note.
Então, na volta aqui, ele escreve em piano, enquanto no início era mezzo forte ou forte. Então, vê se consegue achar um som extremamente especial por esse piano.
This is going to be beautiful. I can't wait to hear the whole thing.
I'm doing it at A string, but at the tip and with not the whole bow, just like this to create the last tour here.
I missed the last thing that you said.
Something like this.
Yeah, that would be fine. Yeah. Yeah. If maybe at the end of the class, if we have about 5 minutes, I can play a recording that I think is really great for listening to a color change that is fabulous. But,
No final da aula, se dá tempo, a gente escuta um exemplo, uma gravação com essa mudança de cor maravilhosa para ilustrar as possibilidades de cor.
Great. Okay. Congratulations, you played beautifully. Well done.
Congratulations for you. Thank you, Rhonda.
Alguma pergunta, alguma coisa que alguém não entendeu? Se não, a gente continua com a Laurisa. No? Just checking if everything was clear. Really beautiful, Danielle. Okay, so let's go to Haydn. Ah! Be gone. Sorry.
Full body workout.
Well, it's so embarrassing because you all know that I really like this guy's workouts, but now now you all know that because it comes up onto my YouTube.
Nice.
They're really fun. Okay. Yeah, it always comes up with like Disney videos, a workout video, and like contemporary music. That's what comes up on my YouTube. Então, Lauriza, é a exposição ou não?
Bravo. Very, very nice. I love your exuberance. That's the word that came to mind when I was hearing you playing.
Thank you. I was so anxious. And
yeah, boy. So this is a very happy piece, and I feel like you conveyed that part of it really well. That it felt very bright and very energetic and just very happy. Which is great. Now I think you can contrast that with a little bit more relaxation in parts. So now you don't need to be nervous. Okay, so do you have a character in mind for this piece, or are you thinking of, what do you think about this piece?
Today I feel like just what you said, like some happy and like a little girl, happy and elegance, just walking in a natural space, but near it's a natural space, but near the city. There is movement near her. But I think it's just a happy state. I don't know.
Great. And so there's a lot of drama in this piece too, which is super fun. Let's start with the beginning. I feel like your tempo is just slightly too fast. And it's something that we all have to work on, because when we practice a piece, it's hard at the beginning, and then we continue to make it fast so that it continues to be hard. So I think put it a little bit on the back side of the beat.
Então, I'm just gonna summarize. Yeah. Então, principalmente, essa peça é muito alegre, e a Laurisa tá repassando essa qualidade de ser brilhante, de ser feliz, de ser... mas, às vezes, precisa relaxar mais. Então, a Rhonda perguntou qual que é a imagem, ela falou também alegre, às vezes uma menina, uma jovem num lugar natural, mas perto de cidade, perto de movimento. Então, agora, Rhonda sugeriu que ao mesmo tempo que é muito alegre, tem que achar lugares para relaxar e também explorar o drama da peça. Então, primeiro, para começar com um andamento um pouco menos ansioso. I will say I've never heard Laurisa play this that fast. I was really shocked. I was quite surprised by the tempos.
I think I never did this so fast.
Yeah, so the opening again. Now that
okay. Sorry.
Perfect. So now these next chords, I wasn't quite clear which you wanted to be more. Are you thinking, or?
I think the first one.
Okay. Can you play the beginning once again, and then keep going? Okay, wonderful. So now, when you've got the second one, he could have, that could be the end, but he doesn't. this glorious shift up to that A. Tell us about that. Don't do it too quickly. Great, yes. And then how about the next section? So maybe this has a different character, yeah. Maybe this is a new character. Maybe it's no longer, you know, the girl walking down the street, but maybe this is, you know, or she's in a different part.
Sorry. There's a baby just crying a lot. I don't know if you can. So perturbing.
I thought it was my cat.
No, it's Huda. My
Okay.
nephew. I don't know how to say it in English. He don't want to wait for the end. Sorry.
Great.
Just
You're almost there. It's okay. So I'd like you to maybe try to think of these as two different characters. So one is the more singing legato, gentle, and then there's this sort of impish, little, I don't know, little creature of some kind there. And then again. Yeah, so there are kind of a little bit two different characters, or one person who's having a different, you know, a different thought.
Então, essa segunda tema, em geral, é mais cantabile do que o início da peça. Mas dentro dela tem duas coisas um pouco contrastantes. O primeiro motivo, que é mais cantabile, e depois a parte mais articulada, que às vezes é mesmo caráter, mas com um humor um pouquinho diferente, uma cor um pouquinho diferente. Então, para mostrar um pouco mais a troca entre essas duas coisas.
Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Stick with that. So here's another thing that I would, that I think is probably a good thing to do, especially with pieces that we've known for a while, because our tendency is to let them run a little bit. We want to really feel, you know, the orchestra, you know, they're just going along, and we can do rubato. We can take time if we have to give it back, if we take some, you know, we can do all sorts of things with rubato, but I think you can't see my feet, but what I'm thinking is, pretend these are my feet. I'm thinking that I'm going to be tapping each alternate foot so that I really get the rhythm. So I really feel the rhythm. So I'm even thinking, so like, you know, every once in a while, I'm gonna see if I can move my feet that way. I mean, I wouldn't sway back and forth, but you can't see my feet. So just think, see if you can actually tap your foot while you're playing some of this. Maybe just from the beginning, and just tap each foot.
Então, uma outra coisa, sobretudo quando a gente tem uma peça que faz tempo que a gente conhece, a tendência de ir para frente, de ir correndo. Então, para nós ficar com o pé no chão um pouco mais com o andamento, lembrando que a orquestra está sempre segurando, a gente pode roubar, a gente pode ir um pouco para frente e depois esticar, sempre temos que voltar nesse fundamento. Então, um exercício interessante é de levantar os pés, né, e de bater cada pé mais alternando entre esquerda e direita. Então, é para a Laurisa experimentar esse exercício com os pés. Eu acho isso super difícil. I'm so bad at this exercise. I find it really difficult.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone should try it because it's surprising. It doesn't seem like it will be hard, and then you do it, and it's like, oh.
É difícil, confunde.
Okay, try. Nossa. No. It's really hard. Okay.
That's fine.
This is so hard.
Done. That's
Bravo!
already your rhythm feels very stable to me now. So I would practice like that every once in a while, just to see, just to see if you really are feeling the rhythm, and especially when you have long notes, like okay, so 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and because it's pretty easy to. So just every once in a while I would do that. I think your rhythm basically is really good. Let's skip. I want to talk about one section in the development when you have. This is quite dramatic. Yeah, it's very fun. And then this section also seemed just a little bit fast. And I'm wondering if we could hold it a little bit. Terrible, no place. Could you start? This is in the development. Sorry. Do you know what that is? How could you tell? Okay. Sorry, my bad. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So the tempo, this tempo, everything sounds so much better. So if it's just a tiny bit slower, this is great. I love how you played all of that. Again, I think probably the foot thing would be good to try. But when you have this, It's actually sounding very clear, which is great. We want to hear all those notes really clearly, and I am hearing it. It's wonderful. But through this, I'm not sure what your phrasing is. I feel like, you know, sometimes when we practice something to be clear, we end up playing it like we practiced it. And so instead of playing the music, we end up, you know, thinking, is it clear? Am I getting, you know? So what are you thinking of? So we got, is that gonna, or is less? I don't know. Is that gonna be more, or are we going to go, I don't know. Yeah, try it once again and try something, and you don't have to stick with it, but try something and be very, very clear. Let us know what your opinion is.
Então, essa sessão, a articulação, estava super claro que realmente um dos desafios dessa parte, só que às vezes, por ter estudado tanto a clareza da articulação, não é muito claro a intenção musical. Então, para ela explorar a direção, quais progressões, quais harmonias estão crescendo, quais estão diminuindo, qual que é a lógica musical dessa parte.
Yeah, that's much better. I think, I'm wondering, let's see. I'm thinking that D major sounds fun. Maybe that could be, maybe you could even take a little time there. Then we go. We're kind of back to where we were, so maybe that's not such a big deal. So finally we're home in C major. But then now we're not. Maybe, yeah, and then finally we make it to that D sharp. I think I would make some kind of hierarchy that's even more than what you just did, but I thought what you just did was much better. So yeah, so keep thinking about what you want to do with that section. Yeah. It's a tricky one, and technically you have it.
Então já foi melhor, mas pode ainda explorar mais a hierarquia dos acordes aqui.
Great. Are there any things you want to talk about the piece or cello playing?
Well, I have a lot of difficulties at the fast notes, like the sterics, the fills. And I feel like I am just faking that I am doing the work. No, I am just faking that I did all the notes, but I think like I can't play all the notes of the fills and fast notes. I think I don't have the velocity that I need on my fingers.
Yeah, it didn't sound that way. Can you pick a passage that is bothering you, and let's figure it out.
No, I'm good with this. Just okay. Like the like.
Yeah, good. Okay, so there you have. Let's see, how many notes is it? It's 4/8. Okay, so we got 16. We got about 20. 24 notes or something like that. Okay, so you've got all of those notes. Where are you thinking? What are you thinking about during that passage? Where are you thinking of? I'll tell you a funny story. I asked one of my students that. He was playing something very, very fast, and it wasn't going particularly well. And I said, so what are you thinking of? And he said, so aside from that, which we've all thought from time to time, so where are you thinking of? We need little places we can think of. We can't think of, 20 notes in a row. It's too many.
Então, deixa eu só traduzir. Laurisa falou que tá com dificuldade nas partes mais rápidas, que ela sente que não dá conta. Então, ela escolheu um lugar e a Rhonda perguntou, são uns 24 notas. O que ela tá pensando? Além de gritar, que mais que ela tá pensando? Quais lugares dentro dessas 24 notas ela tá focada?
So I think
Okay, so let's take the first one. I think, are you doing, is that your fingering?
yeah, that's it.
Great. Okay, so can you try that fast for me? Yeah, one more time, sorry. Okay, good. Can you just do the bow on the open string? Okay, can you give it a little bit of rhythm? So we're going to feel each four. Good. Now put your left hand with that, but just think about your bow. I'm missing the, yeah. Which note is that accent going to be on? Great. Do one more time. So, give us a little more accent on that C. Can you do just the bow once again? It's sounding, I don't know if you can hear this on Zoom, but out here it sounds a little bit like, yes, make it very even. Speak each note. Good, now try that with your left hand, but keep the right the same.
With the left
Yeah,
hand.
so with all the, yeah. Yeah, good. Okay, so then where's the next place you're thinking of? You're going to the D? Okay, good. Can you do just the bow on the open strings, but on the right, do the right string crossing? Maybe do it once slowly. So, and we'll start on the downbeat. So, and can you just do the bow once again, if you would?
Sorry, just with the bow?
Yeah, just the bow, but start on the beat.
I don't understand, sorry.
Okay, so with the bow we'll go. So just if I put the right notes. So. Great. Can you do that fast? Yeah, see if you can get each note to be very even. See if you can hold the tempo just a little bit. Okay, and now put your left hand with that. There you go. And now, just that much. I still feel just a little bit like the notes are running just a little bit instead of, yeah. Nice, yeah. Anyway, that's one way I would work on that. The other way, which is kind of a funny thing to do, but it's fun to play things forwards and backwards. So, you know, play them up and play it back. I would play it all the way up to the high G and backwards. Somehow we learn it a little bit faster that way. But I would just try to do things just with the bow on the open strings, on the right open strings, and just keep it nice and steady. Don't let them run. Good. Any other spots? Or anything else you'd like to talk about?
I think that's it.
Okay.
The most problematic.
Bravo. You sound beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bravo, Laurisa. Alguma coisa que não ficou claro, gente? Senão a gente pode assistir pouco de Bach. Okay, so let me just move my embarrassing YouTube video out of the way first before I share my screen. Okay, so let's watch Vanilsis Bach, a giga da Suite 5.
Nice, bravo, beautiful. So what can you tell me about a jig in Bach? What can you tell me about it?
Então fala sobre Giga, Vanilce Embarque. O que você pode falar sobre Giga?
Eu acho que é uma música animada, né? Pra cima, é coisa de bar, né? De estar comemorando, comemoração.
So she says it's up, it's energetic, and it's actually has a feeling of commemoration of
Great. Okay, good.
festa.
I think, although we don't need to change it right now, but I think maybe if it's, if it's that sort of, sort of feeling that maybe it could be just a little bit faster.
Então, no caso, às vezes um pouco mais rápido.
Aham.
So we've got the feeling of, big boots.
Sim, aham.
Nice. That sounds great. So I think also what I really enjoyed with your playing is that I felt the empty beats.
Ela gostou muito que no seu performance que ela sentiu os tempos vazios, né? Os tempos bom, vazios. Hey!
I love that. They're really, really well. So I'm wondering if you can add a few more things, because I think I know what your phrasing is, but sometimes it was a little bit too subtle.
Então ela quer fazer umas sugestões porque o seu fraseado, ela acha que entendeu, mas às vezes fica sutil demais para entender seu fraseado.
Entendi.
So if we take, let's see, why don't we do the beginning? So we've got, okay, so then, and it keeps going. So it's double timed. And now, it could keep going, but it doesn't. And it kind of goes away. Yeah?
Aham.
Would you try that? Great. Now, what about the next section? And then, to me, it sounds more like a question.
Aqui é como uma pergunta.
Aham.
Can you try that? Yeah, and then we could keep going, but it doesn't. It goes up, yeah. It's as if it keeps trying, and then never mind. No.
Como uma coisa que tá tentando, mas aí desiste no final. Cada vez que sobe, né? Uma tentativa a mais.
Eu vou pegar do início desse
Yeah. And then we have this funny part. Everything is building.
Tá
Yeah.
construindo, subindo cada vez mais aqui.
And then, it keeps going down and down and down, and it keeps going. And it just walks away.
Aí como se ele sai do lugar. Tchau.
Can you do more crescendo? Really take it to that top.
Mais crescendo aqui, na subida.
Tá.
Bravo. And that's just one way of playing this. There are many different ways you could play this piece.
Tem muitas maneiras que você poderia tocar esse movimento, né? Aqui, essa maneira que ela mostrou é só uma maneira possível, uma interpretação possível.
Do you all listen to different recordings of Bach, like everything from, to be really extreme, from Rostropovich to Honor Bylsma?
Você escuta gravações diferentes, variados de Bach, com interpretações diferentes?
Escuto. Escutei, inclusive da Giga. Eu procurei, na verdade.
She did. She looked for different ones and compared the differences.
Yeah, they're more extreme than I think in any other kind of music.
As interpretações de Bach são muito radicais, né? As diferenças entre eles. I think one nice thing about the way you taught this jig just now, Rhonda, is that I think maybe just in my class, but I think in all classes, there's a big emphasis on harmonic thinking in Bach, which I think is, I mean, it's really fundamental. It's sort of inescapable. And it's often the point where as cellists we're weakest. You know, if we were pianists, maybe it wouldn't be our weakness. But actually, it's just as valid to look at register, you know, and intensity as created by register, which is basically what you did here. And that's, you know, that's also a really important way, because I think sometimes we get overwhelmed by the harmonic structure, you know, poor melodic instruments, you know, we play melodic instruments and it can be overwhelming, but we can also follow the register and follow our intuition.
Yeah, I think,
nice.
I mean, it's being somewhat simplistic, but I think following the line is always a good thing. Once you've done the harmonic analysis, and it really sounds as if you know exactly what you're doing, you know, as far as the music goes, then really telling the story and having some fun with it, and trying some things, you know, even if you know, if you can't decide how you want to play something, I'm talking about phrasing, then choose one way, do it for 3 days. If at the end of 3 days you don't like it, try something else.
Então, eu estava falando que muitas vezes a gente embarca, eu acho fundamental que a gente tenha uma abordagem harmônica, que a gente entende a estrutura harmônica, mas às vezes isso a gente trava, porque é muita informação, né? E não somos pianistas, e o que vocês fizeram agora nessa giga era simplesmente de seguir o contorno da linha, porque também é verdade que o registro traz uma intensidade, e a Rhonda estava comentando que depois de fazer nossa análise e entender mais ou menos, a gente tem que criar uma narrativa, de fazer um sentido da linha, como uma linha, não necessariamente como uma harmonia, e ela sugeriu que às vezes que a gente tem que fazer essas decisões de como esculpir a linha, e às vezes, quando você não sabe, escolhe uma maneira de frasear e fica com isso por 3 dias. Aí no final, depois de 3 dias, se não gostar, experimenta outra coisa. Tipo, você vai crescer em algum lugar, de crescer, fazer uma sequência para frente ou mais para trás. Então pode fazer essa técnica de simplesmente experimentando as coisas.
Nice, beautiful. Do you have any questions or anything?
Perguntas, Vanilce, ou questões que você queria levantar?
A minha questão é sobre essa rítmica, né, Elise, que a gente estava conversando, porque quando eu não sei se eu consigo realmente manter o ritmo legal, né? Quando eu vou rápido, eu realmente vou fazendo aí eu não sei se a semicolcheia ela fica mais curta, entendeu?
Uhum. Eu achei muito bom na gravação, mas so Rhonda, on her lesson, we worked on this rhythm because she was playing the 16th note really fast, and it was pulling the third beat forward a little bit, so it was kind of jerky. And she said she has this tendency when she plays the movement faster, that the 16th note gets really quick. So I guess she was wondering, first of all, is that a total no-no? And second of all, if she was doing that, or if you have any comments about this rhythmic unit.
No, okay, so that is a good topic of conversation. So I like if the fast notes are fast, but the third beat must be in the right place. So, you know, that has to be very even, but so I'm not playing, but I'm letting them go to the next note a little bit.
Então, ela acha que... Oh, desculpa, sorry.
No, I like it that way, but, you know, that's just one way of doing it.
Ela acha, Vanilce, que ela gosta das notas rápidas sendo rápidas, até mais rápido do que o certinho. Mas o importante é que o terceiro tempo seja no lugar certo. Então, ela mostrou agora que ela não faz completamente quadradinha as semicolcheias, mas ela também não prejudica o lugar do terceiro tempo. Então, as notas rápidas ajudam com direção. Indo para a próxima coisa.
Principalmente quando tem as 3 semicolcheias, né? Então fica...
Especially when it has the 3 16th notes, then it really sort of leads.
As long as the beats are in the right place and the third beat, bumping.
Enquanto 1 e 3 estão no lugar certo. I have maybe something I'd be interested to have you comment on, Rhonda, that's related, because another thing we were working on together with the rhythm is the bow stroke, and I think it's a bow stroke that is challenging but super important in Bach in general, is the ability to, it's like giving the notes a tail, because one thing that was happening with Vanilce, and she didn't do it at all in the recording, and I know this happens often, is that there'll be an end to the note, so it's sort of it stops. And I wonder, like, how you, because we practice, the students do a lot of work with Sevchik and a lot of work talking about clarity of notes, but that's so that we can play them not clearly when we want to, you know. So how I don't know, sometimes it's nice to have turns of phrase, or how do you help students with this idea that without sacrificing clarity, we don't want it to be stopped, the articulation. Então, estou perguntando ao Rhonda de comentar sobre uma questão que a Vanilce e eu trabalhamos outro dia na aula, que é muito importante em repertório barroco, que os golpes não param, não param entre cada um, mas tem um tipo de rabo, ou seja, a gente continua o gesto mesmo quando a nota é curto, que o gesto não fica parado, né? E eu acho que na gravação não tinha tanto isso, mas na aula, Vanilce, o outro dia a gente trabalhou isso, então pedi para Rhonda fazer algum comentário sobre isso.
That's a good question. So we always want to have as much ring as possible in all the notes we play. And for Bach, for like this, that E, that one E flat, I'm really just thinking of letting the note go, basically. So, and it's the way a Baroque bow would work, a bow that isn't a tourte, you know. So just letting it go, but keeping it on the string so that it's always in your ear that the sound should hum. Should ring.
Então, o ponto mais importante de pensar em ressonância. Então, esse primeiro Mi bemol, ela toca e ela solta, ela deixa a nota e segue, mas ela segue na corda, né? Sem tirar o arco da corda e ouvindo essa ressonância. Então, sendo guiado por sempre procurando esse som. I don't know how to say hum. How do you say hum? Como fala? Esse som.
Nasal?
É quando você canta com boca fechada. Eu não sei falar isso. Boquiusa. Então é como que você tá ouvindo o som de boquiusa. Murmurar.
É boquiusa, eu acho. Sim. Mas os cantores falam boca que usa, mas eu não sei se é assim que escreve.
Okay. We've opened a can of worms, Rhonda. No one knows how to.
O Daniel falou.
The other thing you want to think is that the bow
He put purr. Someone translated in the chat, but he put purr like a cat. I don't.
A little bit, yeah. So yeah, so it's got a little bit of purr. I like that. Yeah. So it's not only a physical thing, but it's getting it in your ear. If you can hear it, if you want to hear it, you'll do it. Because all of you have such great techniques. I mean, you can do all this stuff. You just need to. The hardest thing for us to develop is hearing. It's really hearing what we can do and what we sound like.
Então a questão, na verdade, é menos físico, porque você é plenamente capaz, você tem técnica, todos vocês têm técnica para fazer qualquer coisa. Então você está plenamente capaz de fazer de procurar os sons, de fazer os sons. A questão é mais de você ouvir. Então seguindo esse som no seu cello, respondendo e ouvindo o som que você quer. E que a coisa de desenvolver nosso ouvido é o mais importante e o mais difícil, porque técnica você já tem, desenvolvendo o ouvido. É mais alguma pergunta sobre Bach ou outro assunto? Okay, cute. No, just asking people if they have other questions. I think we might have time if people don't have questions. To listen to that recording you mentioned. Okay. Of the color change.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't planning on doing this, so let me find it. I will.
Or we can.
No. I'll be right back. It takes 2 seconds.
Okay. I'll talk about stuff. Ela vai procurar a gravação que ela falou, né? Que mostra mudanças de cor. E enquanto isso, primeiro obrigada a todo mundo para me mandar o Agosto de Março. Eu vou começar a juntar. Eu acho que para eu ver se tem algum problema, precisa refazer. É só na hora de juntar as vozes que realmente vou perceber, tá? Então, E o barco agora eu acho que com todos os movimentos de vocês, por todas as switches. Então eu tô colocando como prazo dia 15. Tem um pouco de flexibilidade, mas a ideia era de repassar para os bailarinas com o tempo deles fazerem. E na semana que vem na agenda, coloquei recital virtual. Vai ser a oficina normal na semana que vem, tá? Esse recital eu vou jogar lá pro final do semestre e vocês podem mostrar as peças que vocês vão fazer na prova, ok?
Okay.
Sorry, Rhonda, just doing a little
Of course.
logistics.
Of course. Okay, so can you make me a co-host
Oh,
so that I
yeah.
can share my
Yeah.
screen?
Absolutely.
That would be
I think I
great.
even know how to do this more easily than last time. Getting to be really good at Zoom. God help us. There we go.
So this is one of the things that that is too bad about Zoom, because the sound, even when it's good, it's not as good as in person. So you can't really hear all the different colors. But one thing I think, as cellists, we can control our sound to an infinite degree, really. And just being able to hear something that sounds fantastic and trying to be able to analyze what's going on with that sound. So I'd like to play a recording that I often play for my students. It's of Jessie Norman, the great singer. And she's singing a Mahler song. And there's a moment about 4.5 minutes or so into it where she does a color change to something that's incredibly soft. And it's absolutely magical. If you can think of how you would do that, listen for what she's doing with her vibrato and what kind of a sound it is. Just, you'll see.
Então, a Rhonda está falando que como violoncelistas, a gente tem uma capacidade infinita de mudar nosso cor e qualidade de nosso som. Então, a gente precisa ter muita imaginação. É muito bom, muito importante ouvir gravações, ouvir música com cores diferentes, para estimular nessa criatividade. Então, ela vai mostrar uma gravação que ela usa com os alunos dela, da cantora Jessie Norman, e cantando uma música de Mahler, e uns 4 minutos, depois de uns 4 minutos, ela faz uma mudança muito mágico por um piano, muito, muito piano e muito especial. Então, é para a gente ouvir e pensar como que a gente faria isso com violoncelo, e presta atenção o que ela faz com vibrato também, além de dinâmica.
Okay, so I'll share my screen. Just if I had a cello that sounded like Jessie Norman, I would die a happy person. Okay. Okay, so we can stop, but did you notice the part where she goes very, very high and very soft? And what she's doing, I feel, is she's making her vibrato narrow. She's still vibrating, but it's very narrow. And she's singing with a very diffused sound. So almost like we would be playing up a little bit sul tasto.
Então,
Yeah.
tem um lugar que ela sobe, ela canta umas notas muito agudas, mas ela tá cantando com um vibrato fino, um vibrato que fica muito, é presente, mas é muito fino, e com um som suave, como se a gente estivesse tocando sul tasto, e cria um som muito, muito piano.
So when you're, when you're listening to something, or it would have to be on a recording, but when you're listening and something really moves you, like you think, oh my gosh, that's so fantastic, whether it's, fast and loud, or something like this, then try to analyze it. Try to figure out, okay, why is it so moving? What is it about? It's the timing, it's the sound, but how can you do that? How can you replicate that?
Então, quando você ouve uma coisa que chama atenção, que você acha incrível, pode ser uma coisa piano, pode ser uma coisa rápido e forte e enérgico, para pensar por que chamou atenção, o que é nesse momento que ficou tão incrível e como você poderia fazer isso. Como você faria isso com seu instrumento.
Great.
Nice.
It's been wonderful seeing you guys.
Thank you, Rhonda. It's been lovely.
We'll have to come to the US when we can.
Yeah, well, I know. We'll have to come and do some cello ensemble concerts together, because we actually did the Torlobiano, but we didn't do the landscapes, Brazilian landscapes. We haven't done that. We did Torlobiano, and we just did a project. I'll send you the film. We just used another short piece from the suite of Dimitri's in a video that one of my students did. But I don't know, I have all these plans. Someday when there's lots of money for projects, I'm going to take my ensemble on a big international tour. We'll go visit you. When some money falls from the ceiling, or we're able to charter our own private airplane, we'll do lots of tours.
Yeah, great. Okay. Well, thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. I guess we're at the end of our time. It went so quickly. But thank you. It's been so interesting having guests, because I feel like each one of us, as a musician and as a teacher and as an individual, has our approach and our perspectives. And so it's such a pleasure to get to know people, and each one is enriching, and each different perspective adds so much. I'm just loving it, because I love seeing other people teach and seeing how they approach things, and I know the students are really, really getting a lot out of it. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
It's my pleasure. And I know those of you who are applying to schools, if you have questions about schools in the US, give me an email, just send me an email. I'm happy to answer any questions. If I can tell you about applications and things like that.
Então, se tem perguntas para quem está pensando em tentar mestrado, tentar estudos fora, ela está super à disposição para receber e-mails de vocês, né? Não precisa passar por mim, vocês podem ficar em contato com ela, tá? Great. Well, thank you. Have a great semester. Best wishes with everything, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Tchau, gente. Boa semana.